Research has come out with regard to weight loss that if you are under stress, your body is producing cortisol. If your body is producing cortisol, you're getting all these layers, all these places, no matter if you just eat cottage cheese and carrot sticks up the wazoo. It doesn't matter. If you don't deal with your stress, the body's just going to produce cortisol, which is going to prevent you losing weight. Which is what you can tell your students that, hey, look, if you're not managing your stress, it's like you're coming in from the back door. If you're not managing your stress, you're not going to lose weight. Simple. You can go out and run laps because it's not about sweating. Okay, so let me explain to you the whole diet cycle so you understand what it is, and then you can explain it then to your students. Okay, so remember, well, I don't know if there's anybody in this room that's ever, has anybody in this room ever been on a diet? I just want to check.
Sure.
All right. Okay, so then now let's leave the students out of this. Let's think about ourselves, because then if you can think about you, then you can see how it applies to other people. Because a lot of it does really come down to a whole body image piece. But all right, let's say, so it comes, because I know that before I started yoga, and even up until then, I was always on some kind of a diet. That's how even I got interested in this, because I was just very conscious of my weight, and no matter what I weighed, I was conscious, and that's where the body image piece comes in. But here's the first step, and I will give credit to this whole concept for I've taught yoga down at Rancho La Puerta, and I would always listen in on all the lectures. So they had a psychologist there who gave this lecture, and I thought, oh my God, this is brilliant. I really like this. I'm going to use this. So if anything I say really resonates with you, you have my permission to just, share it, because that's where we're going with all this. Okay, so for me, I would go to the closet and I would take a look. I would take a look at my closet and I would say, uh-oh, I can't wear this. And I would get very upset that I couldn't wear it. And then I would say, okay, I got to go on a diet. What are the first 3 letters of the diet? I mean, so I would say, okay, I got to do that, right? Okay, so, and then I would decide whichever diet I would want, whatever it was. I'm talking back 70s now. I don't do this anymore. I have different ways if I decide that I'm unhappy with my body, how I deal with it, okay? But then I would say, okay, I will just eat grapefruit for 3 days, or I will just eat protein forever, or I will do, and then in fact you can lose weight, if you stop, eating. But then what happens once you start eating regularly? Wait. All right, so then I would get all excited. Oh, I'm so happy I'm on a diet. You know what always was the best day of the diet? The second day was the day I went off. Then I would go, okay, so I'm all excited, and then your body goes into starvation mode, right? What are some diets you've been on?
The grapefruit diet, I remember from the
70s,
yeah.
Atkins.
Yeah, low carb stuff. The zone diet. Actually, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing, developing a way of eating is very different than saying I'm on a diet. Because I have found for myself that there are better ways of eating than others. And I do want to manage myself so that I eat healthy for my health. Okay, so, but what's happening with your body is that while your body is in the starvation mode, because you say to yourself, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that, and you're going through all this stuff you can't have, which is like sending even worse messages to you, So your body's getting your metabolism is getting lower, and this comes to our prehistoric days. What would happen if you think back, psychologically what was happening is that we were conserving, if you had extra layers of fat on you, that was a good thing because you never knew when you weren't going to get to eat. You could, in those days, you can just walk into Bonds and decide what you wanted. If you can imagine, So now what's happening is that your body is saying, uh-oh, famine's coming, because this is prehistoric. This is not modern. A famine's coming. I better not eat anymore. I mean, I better, hold on to all my fat. So here your body's starving. You've lowered your metabolism. So what's the next step in this? The next step is, okay, I'm having that, whatever you have been depriving yourself of. So then you go on a binge. Now here's the worst part of the binge, from my perspective. After you do it, you're mad at yourself, right? So then it sets in all this feeling of shame. It's like, oh, how can I do that? I told myself I wouldn't do that. Does any of this make sense to you? Yeah, so you told yourself you weren't going to do it, and there you go ahead and do it. So it's like, what's your problem? And I'll tell you what the problem is. If you're relying on, or the students are relying on willpower, that's not the yogic way. Because it's not about how strong can I be, how much discipline can I have, how much this can I have. And that's where we come in, because we can continue to support the students with regard to feeling good about themselves, loving themselves, taking care of themselves, and knowing and having to develop a home practice too. You know, whatever style you teach is, if you have a loving presence and you are who you are, then the students are going to gravitate to that, and then they're going to keep coming back, so that they're going to get the results they want out of the class. So he talks about the three things. One is the exercise, which is the yoga. The second thing that he talks about is the encouragement that we give the students, because that's so important, you know, like the motivating. How many of you have students that come consistently? And what do you think motivates them to come?
They feel good after they leave.
Exactly.
It's their experience. They come back because they feel good, and they know that they're going to, then they tell me repeatedly, I really didn't want to come this morning, but I knew from past experience, if I came, I'd feel better. And they actually get up and force themselves to come in, even if they don't want to. And that's where you really go.
That's where you feel really good.
It's done.
I know, the best.
It's done. My work is done.
But not only that feeling good carries over to the following day or the next day until it gets to the next class.
It's one of the nicest compliments I got from a student was, just when I think I've gone as deep as I can, I've gone deeper. I thought, oh wow. It was not about trying to change their bodies, and I had a lot of ethical questions myself. It was like, hey, listen, I'm not trying to make you lose weight. I don't care. You want to stay whatever weight you are, fine. Just be happy whatever weight you are. That's all. It's not about, oh, get skinny. It's about start to feel good, get healthy, take good care of yourself. And anybody working with anybody who has a weight issue, the number one priority is to teach them to love themselves. Not go from this is where you have to go, well, lose this weight and then you'll love yourself. I don't think so. Because it's a deep core feeling, you know, that you can't change that deep core feeling. If they're not loving themselves at 50 pounds, they're not going to love themselves at, you know, when they've got like 5 pounds left to lose. And that's our journey.